love that voice.
Record. I wish I could make her British. Is it recording in progress? I feel like with
It
Skype, you
turned
used
into
to have
Alan Rickman. Recording
recording
in
in
progress.
progress. Turn out
So be
the
it.
buckets. That would be amazing. If now, so there's probably a way to do that, like load in your own voice
There
clips
will
and
be,
stuff.
yeah, and like his family will sue
Yeah,
AI and like not get anywhere.
yeah. So okay, so we were talking. So let's bring in the audience in because we're now recording.
Okay.
We
Hello,
don't.
audience.
Yeah, it's Brian. It's Heath and Brian again. Hey, Brian.
Okay, it's the Heath and Brian show.
Right. Well, we do
It's
need
a
a
spinoff
name.
from Serial at Midnight.
We need a name because we're gonna do these like I don't know as often as we feel
Oatmeal
like
at
doing it.
midnight.
What did you say?
Oatmeal at midnight.
Oatmeal. It keeps you regular. It fights diabetes.
Yeah, we're
It's
both getting
healthier than
older.
cereal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now we need a name. So if anybody has any suggestions for
Well,
a
cereal is perfect because it's like a double entendre because it's like a movie cereal and
yeah,
cereal that you eat in a bowl.
yeah.
So, but is there anything else like that? No, not that I know of.
Mm, that's yeah. And do we keep the midnight theme for whatever title? I don't know that we need
Yeah,
to.
I think cereal is more important, but I think you're sick of the whole cereal thing.
But you know why? Because people call me cereal.
Yeah, I know
It's
that
so
that
weird.
would
They'll be
annoy
like,
the hell out of me.
great video
It
cereal. I'm
annoys
like,
the hell out of me for you. So,
yeah. Like I've stopped introducing myself because at this point I'm like, if you don't know who I am,
right, right. What are you
But
doing here?
that to be clear, that's not an ego thing. I just mean I've
No, no.
introduced myself hundreds of times in videos and people still call me Serial. So at some point I'm just like, I'm not gonna say this is Heath anymore.
Yeah.
And then I get like, well, hey Keith. I'm like, no, that's not right either. You just learn like the people that want to know my name are gonna know my name because it's out there, and the people that don't are never gonna know it. If you don't know me by
You never,
now.
never will. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we need if you have name suggestions for this show for Heath and Brian Krey from Alpha Video Gotham Distribution Corp.
Somebody,
That's the name of it.
yeah, Gotham Distributing
I got it.
Corporation. Yeah.
GDC. Yeah.
Pause Easter Egg Corporation. Well,
Are
somebody
they
I was
hiring?
dating was like, somebody I dated a year ago or something was like, well, we could have superhero Sundays when we read comics because like Sunday comics. And I was like, okay, I don't need a special day to read comics, but
Yeah.
so I don't
But
know
they
about superhero Sundays. I don't know about that.
listen. If you got a girl that's like, I'm sorry, if you have a woman, because we're middle aged now, but if you've got a woman that is like, let's read superhero comics on Sunday, you just say yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah,
just go,
I
okay.
did. I mean, she changed
Yeah.
her mind like a few weeks later, but
Well, it's just like these aren't very good or what?
yeah, yeah. She was like, yeah, yeah. These are for kids.
Oh man, not really. Not unless you're reading some
No, they never
Silverman
have
stuff.
been. Well, that's funny because I was thinking like I wanted to show you because I was going through my storage space and I pulled these out. I pulled this out, which was like my original Death in the
Oh,
Family trade. Do
yep.
you remember this?
Of course
Because
I
it's
do.
it's so weird because
I think I've got that trade.
yeah, it's so weird because I had the first two parts of it. And the second part, of course, like they had to add, will Robin die? Call this number to decide whether he lives or not. And by the time I got the second part, the number it was already defunct. It was too late for me to call.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I never got parts three and four, and I don't know why. I don't know if they were sold out or
Well,
I
you
was
would have been a
scared
kid.
by what's that?
You would have been a kid, so it might not have been available at wherever you were buying your
I
stuff.
feel like I got the first two part because the first three issues of Batman I read were the first two the issue before Death in the Family started and then the first two parts and then I yeah I don't know why I didn't get parts three and four but then they came out with this cheap trade paperback.
What's the cover? Is it 4.95 cover price? I
It's
think it's
3.95 and
three
it's
ninety
like I
five.
read this so many times. It's in
Yeah,
horrible shape, but it's newsprint. It's like the comics were at the time.
right.
But it's
Have
just
you seen? I'm sorry, put a pin in. Remind me to come
yeah.
back to newsprint. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just this this is the first Batman story I read and it's so violent and it's and
Oh yeah.
there's all this stuff about the conflicts in the Middle East, where the Shah of Iran makes the Joker the UN ambassador to Iran, which is like something that would happen on the TV show,
Right.
which
Dun,
is
dun,
part of
dun,
why
dun,
I
dun,
love it.
dun.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I want to reread it to
Isn't
see.
that interesting though? Because it walks that line. So it's super adult and like, conflicts in the Middle East and
Yeah,
all that. But then
yeah.
the Joker is the ambassador to the UN. That's
But and
ridiculous.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I mean, considering recent events, I don't know. I feel like the Joker might have get into politics if he was real.
He
So I
knew
don't
somebody
know
in
if
high
that's
places. Yeah,
yeah.
he was
So
connected.
it's just I don't know. It's so it's
Let's
interesting.
bring people in, but there because my audience is not necessarily a comic book reading audience. I think they know the movies, but there are going to be
Yeah,
people
I don't want
watching
to
this or
alienate
listening. They're
anybody.
like, "What's a lonely place of dying?" So tell them what it
Oh
is.
well, I found that too. I have my newsprint trade of that, which
I
is
got that one too. Yeah.
yeah, 3.95 because there was
So
like
it
the
was
Robin trilogy
oh,
of like the death of Jason Todd and then Tim Drake becoming Robin. And
right.
that was like that was the big story that when the first movie came out. I think that was such a great way to get people into Batman to kind of like all these kids love the movie and then
Hmm.
they come to the comics and this new kid becomes Robin. And I
Hmm.
think that was like even though Robin wasn't in the first movie, I think that was just like such a great way to bring in readers to have a new
Yeah.
Robin, and you know,
So in the 1980s, they had entered the original Robin, Dick Grayson, had joined the Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans, as he'd become Nightwing. He basically graduated to his own hero. I'm telling
yeah.
the audience that.
What happened was that the New Teen Titans by Marv Wolfman and George Perez became DC's best-selling book, drastically outselling Batman.
It was really direct competition for the Uncanny X-Men over at Marvel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was DC's answer to X-Men and but then the Bat Office was like, well, we want to have Robin in our comic and like Marv and George were like, well, Dick Grayson's our character now. We're the best-selling comic. So the compromise was that he would take on a new identity and there would be a new Robin in the in Batman and Detective because they were still selling a lot of lunchboxes and things with Robin on them.
Hmm. Enter, enter Jason
So
Todd.
okay, so they introduced Jason Todd, who's also the son of circus acrobats, basically had the same origin because I think Jerry Conway, the guy who wrote the story, was kind of like, well, how is he going to be able to do all the stuff that Dick Grayson does? He didn't think about the fact that he could be Olympic gymnast or something like that.
Right.
And I actually kind of like the original story because it's almost kind of like a Twilight Zone episode because what happens is that Bruce and Dick are pursuing a criminal, and the criminal's operating at the circus, and Dick still has all these friends, circus friends from when he was an acrobat, and he's like, he asked this couple, what was Trina was Jason's mother. I forget what the father's name was, but he asks them to help and he gets them killed. And it's almost like a Twilight Zone thing where it's like he recreated his own trauma for another
Hmm.
kid, like his
Yeah.
parents were killed and then he asks this kid's parents to help and it's like he gets them killed. So then Jason becomes the new Robin. And
Yeah.
then 3 years later, and this is something.
But hold on, but he was a different kind of Robin because he was really sassy. And like the first time we
No, but
meet
he
him, isn't
wasn't. He was. That's the thing. He wasn't. They introduced him in 1983, where basically, even though he was pretty different personality-wise, he had the same backstory as, well, not the same backstory. He had what I just described to you, where he was also the son of circus acrobats who were killed. And then 3 years later, when Denny O'Neil becomes the new editor of Batman, taking over from Len Wein, for some reason he asks your friend Max Allan Collins to give Jason Todd a new origin.
yeah. And that's when he's stealing the tires off the wheels off the
Well,
Batmobile,
the
right?
thing is, nobody ever mentions, and no disrespect to Mr. Collins. I know he's a friend of yours, and he's also I've talked to him, and he's a very nice guy. Uh, he basically gave Jason Todd a new origin that was Junior Tracy's origin, where he was a kid thief that Batman found and took in.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, then Jim Starlin came in and gave Jason a kind of a very abrasive personality.
Yeah.
And they decided they were going to have like a phone calling gimmick at DC.
Yep.
And they were like, well, is it going to be something like this? Is Firestorm's costume going to be a slightly different shade of yellow, or is it going to be something major? And they decided, I guess, because I don't know if it, was the whole thing is people say that like the Jason Todd Robin was not popular, but I don't know if that's really the case.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's true.
I
They
feel
were
like
steering us toward
that's like
that.
an urban legend now.
Yeah.
And so they made it like they did this story where um, Jason got beat up by the Joker and left in a warehouse that exploded. And then they, like I said, they had this phone number at the end of the book. Call if you want Jason to survive, or call this number if you want Jason to die and the Joker to win. And I
And the
think
audience
by like
collectively,
50 votes or something,
yeah, yeah.
it lost. And supposedly it was one guy using some computer to call that number over and over again.
Oh, I'd never heard that.
Yeah, that's what Denny O'Neil said. Um,
You're saying comic book fans are unreasonable, that there might have been an obsessive comic book fan who did something crazy?
but I also think people were just voting like for Robin to. I think they were voting for like Burt Ward to die or something. I don't think they really. Because like there's this whole thing where people are like, oh, I don't like Robin, and it's like I think you really
Yeah.
just don't like Burt Ward's version of him.
Well, okay, so for context of the time, the Dark Knight strikes the Dark
Dark
no
Knight Returns. Let's
Dark
not
Knight
go
Returns.
too
So why couldn't I
far.
think? Yeah, but so there's this much darker vision of Batman that's going around at the time. I feel like there was a very clear editorial push to make Batman grittier, and that's hard to do when you've got a boy with his legs out, hopping around doing crazy things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing with the Dark Knight Returns was like that was the publicity for that was to the reason they were kind of marketing that to bookstores and it was written about in Rolling Stone and stuff. Warner wanted to see if there was a market for an adult Batman, basically, or
Hmm.
if adults were interested in the character, and that was kind of the success of that gave them the confidence to do the movie.
Hmm.
Because the movie was like struggling in development hell for years since the
Yeah,
first. Because once Superman came out, they were like, "Well, let's make Batman," but they were. I think they were unclear whether or not it was going to be a success or not because so many
yeah.
people just associated with the show.
Which is crazy in retrospect because now Batman's been dark for, you know, 40 years or 35 years or however long it's been.
Well,
Um,
and it's funny because I think so much of it just comes from the first movie,
hmm.
you know. Because I mean, I think the people that were buying The Dark Knight Returns were people that were fans of um, Frank Miller from his work on Daredevil at Marvel. So I think you had a lot of people
Yeah.
buying it, but it was people that didn't buy Batman or DC books. It was like Marvel fans.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
think,
because that's before Sin City and
oh yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
whatever Frank Miller had done Daredevil at that point. What else had he
Well, that
done?
was huge. And he did the
Right.
Wolverine miniseries where he went to
Yes.
Japan,
Yeah.
and that was a huge thing. And he did this series for DC called Ronin that was a creator-owned thing.
Hmm.
And it was about a samurai that gets transported to the Japan of the future. And yeah, so I mean, to me, it's like it's funny that the character is still like so. I'm sick of the character being everywhere, and it really comes from just that first movie.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's just funny to me because I don't think the first movie is like the greatest thing ever made. I know you love it, but it's.
I do love it, but as we've talked about in the past, I don't know, when I watch it now, I can certainly be critical of it. I can be like, well, this doesn't necessarily work. But you can't argue with your 12-year-old self or your 10-year-old self or whatever. Whatever gets its hooks in you kind of has its hooks in you forever in some ways. It's like logic versus feeling, and the
I just
feeling
wish
is what
Robert
versus.
Wool wasn't in it. If Robert Wool wasn't in it, I'd like it a lot more.
Yeah.
He's gonna find me now and beat me up, but I bet he
He
could.
might. He's got Arliss connections. He's gonna come
I just
in. Yeah.
I was I was like, well, like Norm Macdonald used to play David Letterman, and he would just be like randomly saying, "Arliss, Paul, you watch the Arliss?" You
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
Well, so are you reading the current let me just so in the newer DC comics of the last year or
Newer,
so,
you mean the ones that are coming out now?
right now, yeah.
Okay.
Post
Post 9/11,
All
yeah.
In. Yeah.
Uh,
Batman's softer. Like it's a softer. They've relaunched the Batman title with a new writer, and
fresh.
he's gone back to the gray and the blue uniform.
Yeah. Yeah, he still doesn't have the yellow around the bat symbol, which
Right.
I like that. Because
Yeah.
that was how Batman always looked. I mean,
And in I'm like this book called DC KO has come out. This is like the new thing
I
for
read the
DC.
first one, yeah.
So I haven't finished KO. I started it and I fell asleep. So I still have to finish KO. But at the beginning of that book, um, Clark Kent, Diane. See, they're not in costume. So it's Clark,
Yeah, you
not
can't. The
Superman.
artist couldn't differentiate between Lois and Diana, which was terrible.
That's for real.
Wasn't a good
Yeah,
artist. Yeah,
you're right
sorry
about that.
whoever that was, but
They're interchangeable. So it's Diana slash Wonder Woman, Clark slash Superman, and Bruce slash Batman. But they're just playing board games on the couch,
well, that was
and
fun. Yeah, that was fun.
it was fun. There is
Cute.
a conscious effort at the DC office right now to make Batman more fun, to bring back some of the like
Yeah,
for decades he's been completely
I think that's been
mentally.
going on for a long time, though. That really started when Grant Morrison wrote him in 2006,
Oh, I'd
and
have to go back and read some of that stuff.
that's like my favorite. Those are like my favorite
The
Batman.
Batman and
Some of
Son,
my
where they
favorite.
bring
Yeah,
in Damien. That's the Damien thing, right? That's where that
yeah,
comes from,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. He
Yeah.
created Damien. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's been going on for a while now. It's just we don't get that in the outer world. I mean, basically, I think the people that don't read the comics think Batman is just torture porn,
Well, he
basically.
is, and that's why they like him. Like he's miserable.
I mean,
Like
that's what that last movie was, and I know I keep going on about that last movie, but
yeah.
I don't know.
But no, that you're
I want to like it. I want to
Batman is miserable like me. That's why
like
people
Kurt
like the movie.
Cobain. Something in the way.
Yeah.
Like I never thought as a teenager or whatever the hell I was back then that a Nirvana song would be in on a Batman movie and it would be in it like every 5 minutes. I never would have thought that
Yeah.
in a million years, you know.
Yep. Now I want to text Max to be like, "Hey, why did you let's talk about Jason Todd."
Well, I would love to talk to him about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try to get him on for a future show because
Okay.
he and I have never really we talked a little bit about comics in the first interview that I did with him, but the goal of my first interview with him was to cover the arc of all of the stuff that he's done. And because he's done so much, it was difficult to wrangle. I still like it's like 2 hours or something like that, and we barely just scratched the surface. So I'd always intended to come back and just talk about comics because there's the Miss Tree comic, there's
Well, I
his
actually love Mystery, actually.
oh
I love
yeah.
Steve Beatty's art on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The funny thing I always think of is, he did the Dick Tracy movie novelization,
Yep.
which I mean, he wrote the Dick Tracy comic strip for years, and
Right.
Chester Gould picked him as he was his handpicked successor. So I mean, he's done so much with Dick Tracy, more than just writing the movie
He
novels.
knows Dick Tracy probably better than anybody except for Chester Gould ever
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
But then he did two more novels that were sequels to the movie. Dick Tracy Goes to War, which I have, and then Dick Tracy and the TV Terror, which is so rare that I've never been able to find it, and it's like a lot of money on eBay. And like I was asking for help with the Dick Tracy release Alpha was doing, and I kind of snuck in, like I'm always looking for the TV Terror, and he just didn't say anything because I was hoping like he had a copy or something he'd give me
Yeah.
because I like those two books so much that
Like
I'd love to have the third one,
he goes to a like
a
a
secret
vault and he
where.
opens the vault and it's just copies upon it's dozens of copies of
And I'd
TV.
love to ask him about that because
Yeah.
those books, because what he did was like he he didn't want to contradict the first movie. And as one of the things that I always thought was so weird about the Warren Beatty movie, all the villains get killed.
Yeah.
So Max had to not use any of the most famous villains in those two other
Right.
books because he didn't want to contradict,
He
but they
may
all
tell,
die. They all die like
right. He's told me
ridiculously.
stories off the record about that first Dick Tracy experience. Maybe we can get him to tell some of them on the record, but there in
I mean,
this,
I've read a lot of the whole thing where like the movie didn't have an ending and he wrote an ending and then Warren was like, "Oh, yeah, this is pretty good." And they ended up using that and they also the first I guess they didn't want to give away that the blank was Breathless Mahoney.
right.
So in the novelization, he just takes the mask off and it's Faceless Red Rum, that's what the blank's secret identity was in the comic strip. Faceless Red Rum. That's really like Chester Gould really hit things on the head.
Hmm.
And Breathless, I guess, doesn't even die, I think. I think they just like she just walks off into the night. And they were like, well, we don't want people to read the book first and know the ending. But after the movie comes out, we'll do another printing with the real ending. And the thing is, nobody wanted the book after the movie came out. So I think like the version of the book that has the real ending of the movie is rare. That makes
I don't
sense.
know. You're telling me things I don't even know, so this is
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta. So I have this broad, shallow knowledge of a lot of things, but you've got this very specific knowledge about a lot that you just like, hey,
Although
in
people criticize
1990,
me for that, though.
yeah,
They're like, oh, but you like comics so much. How can you know about movies? Or why do you do stuff with movies? And it's like, I can like both. I mean, it's just,
yeah.
you know.
In fact, most of us do,
Yeah,
movies, music,
yeah,
comics.
yeah, yeah. I don't, that to me is such a bizarre thing that,
Sometimes we even read big boy books,
yeah,
that don't have pictures.
right. It's not even fiction sometimes. It's something that actually happened.
Yeah, yeah. Why? So why did you dig out Death in the Family? Why did you pull that out?
Oh, to be honest, I was like looking for a couple things I was thinking of putting up on eBay just because money is tight.
Gotcha.
And I can
If you're
show
watching this and you
I
have
can
employment
show them to you.
opportunities,
You want
what?
do you want me to show you the two things I was going to put up on eBay? I mean,
Will you be showing the whole audience, or I'll have to edit it out? So it's up to you.
oh, I mean, maybe people will want them. I don't know.
Then you have to tell them where to go. Like username.
Oh yeah, that's true. What
I see BCW boxes. Well, the top one's not a BCW box.
is that? What
For
they're
people
called?
that are listening to the
I was
audio
thinking of
version of
selling
this.
these two because these are two. I guess the first appearance of Poison Ivy,
Oh, wow.
which doesn't. It's missing pages.
Oh,
But I saw on eBay they're still going because there was a pinup in the middle of the book, and but they even without the pinup, it still goes for money. So
it's a great cover.
yeah, Carmine Infantino and Sid Green, and uh, and then this one, which is the first Silver Age appearance of the Scarecrow, his third
Oh,
appearance
nice.
overall. So I mean, money's tight. Public domain DVDs don't pay the rent. So
Right. I'm gonna
so
say it
yeah,
again.
that's why I pulled them out. Yeah, I
If you
mean,
have
I'm not gonna
employment
lie to
opportunities for
anybody.
Brian Krey in archiving, in film preservation, in film marketing, in film, I mean, you're in like every aspect of Alpha Video. Let it
Well, I
reach
do the
out.
authoring, which takes up a lot of time, which I don't think people
No,
know. Or I
they have
mean,
no idea.
I guess yeah, and the
I
people
think,
who used to do it would just do it as quickly as possible.
yeah.
So that's why some of the file sizes on the old alpha videos are so small. But I try to fill up the disk completely. But it
See,
takes
this is just a little,
hours.
it takes hours.
It takes hours, yeah, to encode it, yeah. But I think what they used to do was they would try to do it as quickly as possible, and that's why the file sizes on a lot of the old disks are small. So
We're learning things. Just,
I don't know.
you have so much knowledge to share.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But
Do
yeah,
you want
no,
to do you want to
I'm not
mention
gonna lie to you. I was thinking of selling those too.
your eBay name, or do you want me to just link to that
It's
below? Or
Dr. I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
Well,
No.
somebody just go search for those books if you want them, and you'll
Yeah, yeah. I
you
mean,
might get
plenty of
lucky.
people are selling them. Yeah.
Well, guess what? I have to show you this. I was going through my bag. Actually, I found this in a dollar bin since we last talked. It's a throwback to a previous I think it's our last episode. Look what I found. Oh,
Ah, scary cover.
it's the cover that scared you when you were a kid.
It's in beautiful shape.
Yeah,
Let me
a
put these
dollar,
two
man.
back, if
Yeah,
anybody wants these. Maybe somebody just Cereal Midnight will buy it. And the only reason I had these two, the reason I have these two issues, and this is like really geeky. This is not something that anybody's going to be impressed by, is whenever the new movie was announced, I'd want to get the new all the appearances of like whatever the villains were going to be in the next movie.
nice.
And so that's the only reason I have this Scarecrow issue because when Batman and Robin before it came out, they said Scarecrow was going to be the villain in the next movie, with Howard Stern playing the Scarecrow, and that didn't happen. But I bought a lot of Scarecrow. Well, I mean, they weren't expensive then, because
Yeah, that was 30 years ago.
it was 30 years ago. Yeah. So, and I just always love this cover. I mean, I just love this cover. That's why I don't want to get, it's very hard to part with this because I just love this cover.
Hmm.
And this is when the TV show was on. It's such a dark, moody cover.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to do that. So I mean that's the thing. That's the thing that I think that's always like I actually like the John Schumacher Batman movies and like I was excited like oh Scarecrow's gonna be in the next one. It's gonna be Howard Stern. Wow.
Yeah.
And nobody else was excited about this, I guess.
I don't, you might be right. I don't remember being excited about that stuff. I
I mean, the
remember,
thing is, if Howard Stern cut his hair, he would look exactly like Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow's alter ego.
yeah, no,
Because I
that's
mean,
true.
Scarecrow is not supposed to look like a beautiful like guy from a synth pop band from the '80s, like Cillian Murphy. He's supposed to be tall, gawky, gangly, big nose, and
Yeah.
that's what Howard Stern is.
But I think what we learned from the Private Parts movie is that Howard Stern is not really an actor.
Well, a friend of mine said once, and I think it makes sense, is that he was like, because he got offered movies after that, but it was like, well, he made a movie and that's it for him. He doesn't have to do another one. It's like, oh, I made a movie. I don't have to make another one. It's
Interesting.
kind of like when the Monkees made Headquarters and, they played all the instruments on it and then they didn't want to do that again. Mickey Dolenz was like, well, we already did that. So they just went back to other people playing on the records.
Isn't that crazy?
I don't know. I don't get it.
He just announced the tour. He's touring by himself now as the monkey, like the one man monkeys
Well,
doing
it's funny
a.
because he was just here in Philadelphia a week ago, and I had said to my brother, I wouldn't want to see Mickey. I mean, I've seen him many times on his own with and with Mike, with Peter, with Davey, and I said I wouldn't want to see Mickey again because he just kind of does like a smorgasbord of 60 songs, like he does Beatles songs. And it's like, I don't need to hear Mickey sing for what it's worth. But then
Yeah,
a day later, like literally the next day, he announced that he's doing a tour of all Monkees songs, including supposed deep cuts. So I'm like, oh, maybe I do have to see that. But I don't
you're
know
gonna
what he
go.
considers deep cuts. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and I don't really like hearing him sing uh the other three songs. I would
Right.
rather he do some of the songs on the albums that he sang that he's never done live or rarely done live.
Hmm.
But I mean everybody I mean even Paul does that, like he does Help live now. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, when there's just like one or two of you left, you become some sort of ambassador, not to the United Nations like the Joker, but you become an ambassador of
Yeah.
the whole band. You like,
Yeah.
okay, it's on me now. I have to carry forth all of these songs by myself. I guess Mickey and Mike came to my town during COVID,
Yeah.
and I really debated it because I was like, I don't know that standing in a room full of hundreds of people is a good idea right now. And I didn't go. And then Mike died. So go figure.
Well, I mean, the sad thing I have to say is that um, when what happened was when the Mickey and Mike shows first started, which happened because, Peter was sick and he ended up passing away. His cancer came back. He had cancer of the tongue or throat cancer, very, very bad. What happened was I had a ticket for the show here at the Keswick, which is in the suburbs of Philly, and it was a really hot day, and I was on my way out there, and I got a text from the venue that it was canceled, and what happened was that Mike had a heart attack,
Oh,
um, and that Philly heat got to him, and when they came back after he'd recovered from his heart surgery. I saw the makeup date, and I also saw him by, which is would have been around the time you had the opportunity. He was never the same after that. So, and honestly, it was kind of sad to see him because I was lucky to see him many times and meet him, and he was an amazing live performer and an incredibly nice human being, one of the greatest people I've ever met and which is amazing for me because somebody I admire as much as him and who's brought me uh not just happiness, empathy. I mean, his songwriting and his music is just touched me to an unbelievable extent, and I
yeah.
carry it with me. Um, but he was never the same after the heart surgery, and it was kind of sad the state he was in. Um, so you might have been better off not seeing him in that
Well,
state, even though he had every right to perform. He
sure.
had
But
every
you
right
raise
to
a
perform.
question that I want to ask you. This is a
Yeah.
debate that's constantly going around. Is okay, at what point should some of these artists stop touring because they're doing harm to the catalog? I've seen so many bands that it's a bad experience and okay, I saw Brian Wilson. We might have already talked about
Yeah.
this. Did
Yeah.
we already talk about
No, I
this?
don't think we did. I don't think we
Okay.
did. I never got this. I don't know if I'm a big Beach Boys fan, but I'm a big fan of the records from Pet Sounds to Holland, pretty much. No pun intended. But those are,
No, I'm
I love,
Serial. I don't
I
know what you're
love,
talking about. I'm
yeah,
Serial.
yeah. I have no last name.
Right.
But yeah, yeah, and I've never seen any of them. I really wanted to see the 50th anniversary tour that had everybody, including David Marks, that was alive, but
Right.
it was just one of these things that I missed, and I
Yeah.
wish I had gone to that.
Well, I saw Brian Wilson when he was doing his Pet Sounds live tour, which
Okay.
was it was when he was it was after the 50th anniversary of Pet Sounds, I think. Let's see, that was 66.
So
So
was
that would have been
Al Jardine and David Marks with him, or was it just
it
Brian and the
was
Wonderman?
Al Jardine, Blondie Chaplin was there.
Oh, okay,
I
okay,
don't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
David
Blondie
Marks.
replaced David Marks for whatever
Yeah,
reason
that's
on
yes.
that tour, but he's
And
great too.
and uh, yeah, I think that was the lineup. Anyway, Brian Wilson obviously was very like
Yeah.
fragile and delicate, but it was like a religious experience because I mean, when he came out, just when he started, everybody stood up and just applauded for him because they're like, "Well, he's here, he survived. It's a big deal." Brian
Well,
Wilson.
yeah, that's something that started in Rolling Stone in the 80s where they started calling like Brian a survivor.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of people question like, well, was he really a survivor? Like, is it fair to call him that? And
But here's what's interesting about it though, because he was obviously not hitting the notes, a lot of the notes. He was off key or off pitch, but because of what he'd been through, it was somehow okay. It still felt it was a reverential concert. Like we were all just kind of like leaning forward and kind of
yeah,
enraptured by what was
yeah,
going on. And then a couple of years ago, I went to see the Mike Love version of the Beach Boys, and
with
he did
Bruce.
not hit a single note correctly.
Yeah,
And it was so bad that I remember thinking, I probably shouldn't have come to this. He's doing
yeah,
harm to these songs just by trying to perform them. They
yeah.
took a break after an hour, an intermission after an hour for 20 minutes, and then came back out and played for another hour. And I'm like, I think it was just because
Well,
there's so
Mike's set list, the Bruce Mike version is just so unadventurous that I don't
yeah.
think it's just, I like what I liked about the 50th anniversary tour is they did a lot of different stuff or they hit a lot of different all the albums.
Right.
And Mike, seeing the Mike Bruce version of them is just hearing the greatest hits. And I guess Bruce sings Disney Girls because that's his
Yes.
signature song. But that's the closest thing to like an obscure song in
Right.
their set lists.
Yeah. But I've just seen so many concerts now where these people are in their 80s and they
Mm.
really shouldn't be out there, but they are out there. Do you have an opinion on, you know, should
Uh,
Mike, uh, go ahead.
which Mike?
Well, monkeys should,
Oh, should Mickey? Mickey's voice is still pretty good, I think. So
well,
he
I'm talking
should,
about after the heart attack.
after the heart attack. No, because I mean, there are videos about this, and I don't want to get involved in it because um, the a book could be written about what happened about Nesmith's life that is never going to happen. Um, but he was getting, it seems like he was getting taken advantage of by people. So in his case, no, because it seemed like somebody was controlling him. But I don't have any personal insight into that, so I don't want to say. If it's something he did want to do, then I think he should have.
Yeah.
If he was being pushed out there, and some people have said that about Brian too, that maybe his wife, and I know she passed away too, Melinda was controlling him just as much as Dr. Landy was and pushing him out there. So, but I don't know. I don't have any personal insight into that. But I mean, if they're being taken advantage of, no, and they don't want to do it, no. But if they want to do it and they're in control of their facilities, and then it's on you to whether or not you want to spend the money to see them. But I think they still have a right to go out and perform their songs. But
They for sure have the right to do it, but I guess my question, I don't
should
like
you
the
go see it?
Eagles.
Yeah, you should maybe watch a little on YouTube to see what they sound like.
Yeah,
You
the
know,
Eagles are touring right now, and they've been lip syncing. Like, there's this guy on YouTube called Wings of Pegasus who debunks. He's like, "This is auto, or this
he's done
is
that with Kiss too, right? I mean, I think
Kiss for
Paul
sure
does
was,
that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Kiss was lip syncing. I know Paul was lip syncing
yeah,
at some point during that, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And there's a video of it. It's very blatant. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I went to a few years ago, I went to the Roxy Music 50th anniversary tour, and I had seen the 2001 tour, and I've seen Brian on his own. But Brian Ferry's voice is a whisper now. You know, years and years of Marlboro Reds have really just completely taken away his voice. The band still sounds great, and they had great people singing backup like Fonzie Thornton. But it's a whisper now. Do I think that was a waste of money to go see them? No. But, you know, I mean, how is that going to see Brian Ferry if he's just whispering?
Right.
Whether or not you like Brian's voice or not. I've met a lot of people that don't like his voice. Um, it's very distinctive, and if I think you like him, you part of the reason you love the sound of his voice. And
Yeah.
he doesn't have that anymore. It's just talking, and he looks great for his 80s and everything, but
Right.
you know,
Did I tell you about going to see Tommy James and the Shondells?
well, that probably was an experience. No, you didn't tell me.
It was an experience, yeah. What just reminded me because you talk. He still sounds good,
Yeah.
voice wise, and he was not lip syncing because he was like he did something. And this was not a great show. It was a bad show, but he did something that I really appreciated, which was like they play. What was the song? One of Tommy James and the Shondells for the listener. Dragging the
Crimson
Line.
Clover, Boney Maroney, right? And
Yep, Crimson and yeah. Moni Moni.
Moni Moni. I'm
Not
sorry.
Boney Maroney, but that's a different one.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
impressed that
know.
you know Boney Maroney. I know a girl named Boney
Yeah, my
Maroney.
mother always used to sing that. Yeah.
She's as thin as a stick of macaroni, is I think the next line in that
Yeah.
song, isn't it?
I think they used to sing it to her because she was really skinny.
Oh wow, but that's bullying. That's
It
not
is bull.
okay.
It's body shaming. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
body shaming. Yeah. One of the songs at the end, he like went out into the audience, and it was not a big crowd. It was a
Oh,
few
I
hundred
think We're
people.
Alone now is the other song, right?
Yes, and I
His
think that's
other
what it
pick.
was.
That's what I
And
was
he
trying
goes
to think
out.
of.
He just
Yeah,
busts his flesh and takes pictures with like everybody that wants to come up to him. It was like 20 minutes, which was
yeah,
nice. And I didn't even go, like, I'm sitting there. He comes up to me. And he's just like, like, I'm like, okay, I'll shake your hand. That's fine.
yeah.
But he did something. First of all, not a good show because Dragging the Line What do you think about when you think of dragging the line? It's the bass note, right? Do do do
Right.
do do.
Sure.
Well, take the
Okay.
bass note out. That's not even in their version of the song. It's all synthesizers now, and it doesn't have the boodle doo. This is missing. So it's like, okay, no, you've ruined the song. And then he goes, so he wrote a book called was it Me, the Mob, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Music or something like that. And
yeah.
it's about how,
That was discussed at my place of work because, the
oh,
people that
really?
own Alpha Video are, they're all old music people. So,
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say they had connections to the mob. Okay. Okay. We're gonna move ahead
you might
before we
want to
get.
edit that part out. I mean, I don't know now,
You
but
just shrugged. All you did is shrug. Who
I
are you
just
to
shrugged.
say?
Yeah.
Who are
I
you to
mean,
say? You have no
Morris
idea.
Levy and all those people, it's all public information. Jerry Blavat, everybody can Google it.
All right, interesting. So okay, so he wrote this book. Tommy James wrote this book about how it was the roulette label, I think is what it was. Was
Yeah.
it the roulette? Um, had mob connections, and he was like, and so they're making a movie out of the book, and we've all gone back in and re-recorded this hit in this new version that's going to play over the end credits, and then they play like an acoustic version of I Think We're Alone Now.
Okay.
And it's like a sad version now. It's like, really heavy hitting. And it wasn't great. It was not a great, like, I want to hear the classic version. Okay, so they do this. And then later at the end of the show, they play I Think We're Alone Now, but the other version, I'm like, you've already played this song. You don't get to play it again just because you have a different version of it. It really bothered me. I was like, no, no, you used I Think We're Alone Now. You don't get to do it twice.
Yeah.
But I go to all these shows and I'm like, I recognize like I'm in the presence of somebody that was great in the 60s, but I don't know if I should be here. This is a thing that happens multiple times for me. It's like I don't know if I should be here.
Yeah. I
How
mean,
how close do you want to sit to at a Rolling Stones show? How close to the stage do you want to be right now? They're in their 80s, man.
well, yeah, and I mean, I always think my mom was a huge Stones fan, and she named me after Brian Jones. She saw them on their first tours, like right up front, and what did she pay? A few dollars
Right.
to see them as young men. She always called them five gods. She always told me curtains parted and there were five gods standing on the stage. And I always think of my mother seeing that for a few dollars or $10 or $15 or something at the Academy of Music in New York. And then like these high-powered like tech bro yuppies are paying thousands of dollars to see their decaying bodies on stage. Only two of them. Only two of them now. I mean, I know Ron is considered a real Stone, but he's still at the
But
end of
yeah, he's been in the band for like
he's the
50 something years.
replacement for my namesake, and
Right.
he's really a member of the Faces, you know.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's that's weird. I mean, I could give you all sorts of stories about my years of going to see the Monkees and all the different changes they went through. But that might be another episode. Yeah.
Yeah, we should just do a monkeys focused episode. Do you viewers and listeners, do you want a monkeys episode of this show? Whatever we
Yeah.
decide to call
Well,
it.
like I always joke with you, I think,
Oatmeal and up an oatmeal at midnight about the
well,
monkeys.
yeah, I always joke with you that everybody that likes the Monkees already has their own YouTube channel because there's so
Yeah,
few of us. So I don't know if anybody cares.
it's an interesting point.
I
Yeah,
mean,
what do you think about?
you know how we've got the Beatles anthology reissue coming out, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, and we have these big box sets for the albums that come out every year. The other
right.
year was the red and the blue, and but
Yeah, I think that was the last ones though, wasn't it? I don't think they've done any since the red
was
and
it what was last year? Was last year? I feel was the red and the blue 2 years ago or 1 year ago? I can't
I'm
remember.
gonna look them up. I think it was longer. I think it was at least three, but I'm gonna check it out
Oh
while you
God.
talk. We're old
No,
and
I'm
time
just saying
passes
that
more
when
quickly.
Rhino does the Monkeys box sets, they're not in stores. You can only buy them from the Rhino website. That's because there's less Monkeys fans.
Right.
So, I don't, you know, I think there a lot of people know who the Monkeys are, but they're not going to pay an exorbitant amount of money for box sets of them,
Mm-hmm.
like the Beatles.
That was 2023, the red and the blue.
Okay, so there was nothing last year or
I may be
for
forgetting
Christmas?
something that's really blatant, but I don't think that we got a Beatles box set
No,
last year.
I guess not.
They made when did it, well, hold on, they re-released what the mono albums, I think is what they did.
I
The
guess. I mean, that
singles,
I'm not aware of.
the
Yeah.
vinyl singles collection, was that last year? Let me check. See, I'm not interested in stuff like that. I'm
But there
interested
wasn't
in
a big media blitz like there was
yeah,
for the red and the blue because they issued now and then and everything, and
right.
video. And,
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm kind of worried about this. So I like the Beatles anthology a lot. That was one of the things that in the 90s really fed my Beatles fandom. And I had the VHS, I had some of the VHS tapes because I couldn't afford the whole thing. So I've
yeah,
had at least one or two of them from like used VHS rental copies.
yeah,
Um, but I'm really worried that they're gonna do the Peter Jackson treatment on these things and make everybody look so smoothed out.
yeah. I saw you said that. Yeah, online. I mean, I haven't seen it. I got it for my brother is like my brother Tim is the big Beatles fan, and but I because I've spent more time with him than anybody else. And
Hmm.
he draws to the Beatles. So I've heard probably the Beatles more than artists that I would say are my artists. So,
Right.
I'm a huge Beatles fan, but he's the Beatles fan. He's got all the books and everything. And but I had gotten it for him because neither of us have Disney Plus or when it came out in physical media. He loves it because I mean he used to play the bootlegs of that stuff over and
Hmm.
over again in the
Oh,
late
you're
80s.
talking
So I
about
know
the
that
Get
stuff
Back.
so well, you
You're
know.
talking about the Get Back documentary,
The Get
right?
Back, yeah, the Get Back
Yeah,
documentary. I
I
think
got
I
you.
still think of it as Let It Be. Um,
Right.
I know he enjoyed it, but yeah, you're saying that they used AI to enhance the footage and it looks a
And
little
it looks so
iffy.
weird, and people are
I
like,
haven't
"Oh,
really
this is
seen it,
amazing." To
so
me, it looks so artificial and weird, but I guess whatever gets people
I
watching the
mean
Beatles is,
something like that if that's the only way we can see it.
but it's
I
not.
mean, I've
I mean, it
seen
didn't
some.
have to be.
I mean, I think
The,
the stuff's in pretty bad shape.
it's 16 millimeter. They just didn't want to give us 16 millimeter footage, is my understanding. They were like, let's blow this up to to
I don't
4K.
know. I mean, people don't. I mean, I do alpha video, and we're not known for our quality. So what do I know? I mean,
Well,
I
but
think it's
let it.
amazing to get to see John. Like I've always loved. The outtake of John and Paul singing "Give Me Some Truth," which is like one of my favorite songs of John's of all time, if not
Yeah.
my favorite. And to see the visual of that is amazing. So, I mean, if the only way you can see that is with AI enhancing it, I don't know.
No, I don't. I never thought about that aspect of it. I always thought that Peter Jackson is just anti-film now because he thinks that it looks
I've never been a
commercial
fan
and
of him, so I really know nothing about like his takes on anything.
yeah. Well,
But is
he's
that true?
leading.
He's like Lucas. He's like
Yeah.
screw film. Yeah, yeah,
Well, okay, so the three guys, it's Peter Jackson, it's James Cameron, and it's George Lucas are really guys that came through the film system and now seem to hate film because it's so
yeah. There's so
limited. And I
many
mean,
drawbacks, and yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Interesting.
Well, because we have the Let It Be documentary already, that already existed, and it's
Well, it
completely
wasn't available
it
for
wasn't
YouTube.
available, but it existed. It wasn't available because they
Sure.
didn't like the way it made him look.
Right.
Paul.
Right. It was out
Paul
of
and
print. It was out of print. Well, I think one of the things I've gotten from just the clips I've seen of Get Back, and I haven't seen all of it yet. I hope to see all of it one day, is that it's a much more balanced
it
um,
is.
take on what happened.
It is. Let
Uh,
It Be finished documentary makes them look miserable for the entire
yeah,
time. And
yeah.
then the because it's like an hour and a half or whatever it is. And then the new version of it that Peter Jackson put together is like 5 hours
It's
or even
everything.
6
Yeah.
or
I
something
mean,
like that. And you see how happy they were together and you see how
sure.
much they really are like brothers. And they'll
Yeah.
fight, but then they kind of make up and
Yeah.
it is pretty
Yeah.
great. My only
Well,
complaint
I
about
want
it
to
is
see
that
it,
I
but
wish it
yeah,
was on film.
yeah, I understand. I understand.
And I love the Beatles anthology. Well, I don't know if I love it, but I like it. What the problem with all of that stuff, well, the Beatles anthology is like it's them sharing their recollect. It's George when he's still alive, Paul and Ringo,
Yeah,
and they're
the
sharing
John.
recollections.
The worst thing is that they end it with John saying, "It's just a band, If you want to go back and listen to the albums, you can reminisce. It's not anything important." Because it's like him in 1970, like totally
Right.
bitter and done with the whole thing, and that's a horrible way to end it. Because
That
just
was
10
a
years
really
later, before he passed, well, not passed, before he was taken from us. he felt very differently about the whole thing. So
Yeah.
to use stuff from 1970 when he's bitter and angry, um,
In the
or
middle of
bitter than
lawsuits
angry
with
than
Paul.
usual, yeah,
Yeah.
it's not fair to have that
He's
as
writing songs like How Do You Sleep? Remember that one?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the best. Um, but yeah, it was never fair to use 70s interview stuff with John as an equivalent to Paul, George, and Ringo now,
Yeah.
you know.
That's very
I
fair.
also love the whole thing like Paul's got to like have like he's driving a boat and talking, or he's
Yep.
out in the woods in front of a campfire. I think they should have him like in a spaceship or no, it's
It's
just
very Paul though, isn't it? He's like,
yeah, yeah.
I could go out there, I
Oh, I
could be
don't
in the
know.
bogs or yeah,
You know
doop de
what?
doop de doo, it's just sort of on the boat, doop de dooing, and then I
There's no
remember
reason for that.
it's so funny because Paul is such an eager to please. Like he's just like he wants you to like him so much.
Yeah.
But whenever you get the real Paul, because that's I don't think that's the real Paul. Like
No, probably
the
not.
Paul. Have you seen this stuff on the internet where it's like Paul's been flipping off journalists that ask questions he doesn't like for decades, and it'll be like
Oh
this.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
like scratch
yeah.
his face, this middle
Yeah,
finger,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious because like, well, that's the real
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I mean I hope I can see it. I hope I can see it one day.
you can bootleg it for sure. I'm sure somebody will put it out.
Oh, what the anthology? Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Did
Yeah.
you? By the way, that was a really good John
Believe it or
impression.
not,
What?
the guy from Alpha Video doesn't like to bootleg things, believe it or not,
You did buy a bootleg copy of X-Men '97, though,
I
didn't
sure
you?
did, and I watched it twice, which
It's
is
a good
amazing. To
series.
go through it twice is
Yeah.
amazing for me. I loved
It
it.
it's
I loved it.
fantastic.
And I haven't read X-Men. The last thing I read was a little of the Joss Whedon run because my younger brother Terry had a couple trades of it because he was a big Joss Whedon fan.
Yeah.
So I haven't read X-Men in a long time. But I love that. I
Yeah,
just
you haven't missed much, let me tell you.
yeah, I mean like I said, I haven't really read a lot of Marvel in 25 years, but that's the one thing that I feel like maybe I have missed something with X-Men. Like I figured like the Jonathan Hickman stuff and that might be good and
No,
no,
well, it's not
no,
bad.
no.
Well, here's the problem. So I was reading that stuff. People could probably go back to some of our earlier episodes where I'm
Yeah,
talking about reading the
yeah,
Hickman stuff. The Krakoa I guess it's like a 4-year run or something like that. And there are hundreds and hundreds of books tied into that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's so dense. And it's what Hickman seems to do both with that and with the Fantastic Four. He's
I
trying
didn't
to
really like his
reinvent.
Fantastic Four stuff. I read some of that and I thought a little of that was
It
it should
starts
have been
strong.
looser, you
It
know.
starts strong, but he it's where he goes with some of that stuff. It just befuddles me, and it becomes so dense that it becomes impenetrable.
Yeah.
And the X-Men really should just be feared and hated by the people they've sworn to protect. I mean, that's the X-Men. Is like they're the outsiders. It's not that complicated, but then nobody seems to know what to do with them, and Marvel hasn't known what to do with them in decades, it seems like.
I don't know. I can't really comment because there's so much of it I haven't read. I didn't
Well, the
even read Grant
cartoon.
Morrison's stuff really. Uh,
The X-Men '97 stuff is accessible. You don't have to know a ton about the characters. It's dramatic. It's got all the like classic
well,
personifications of
they
these
they
characters.
adapted a lot of stories that they did like Life Death, which is
Yep.
like a classic story that Chris Claremont and Barry Windsor Smith did. They did like the Trial of Magneto from X-Men 200, which it was different, but it was still, it very much. I like the later Claremont stuff that kind of after John. I feel like after John Byrne stopped drawing X-Men, he really hit his stride, and Chris and I really like that kind of 80s era because it was just like so. It was daring, it was so daring. And we talk about like woke comics now or whatever, but like X-Men was like such a progressive, like uh kind of counterculture book in the 1980s. And that was the best-selling comic, you
Yeah.
know. And a lot of people thought like, oh, this is something that we have to make fun of, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is like a parody of X-Men. And like when you look at it and think this was the best-selling book, and it was just there were gay characters and alternative sorts of sexuality and all these things. And, making Magneto a Holocaust survivor. There's all these things, and you think that was the best-selling book in the 80s. It's like,
Yeah, nobody was
well,
mad
where
about
are
it
we
either.
now? You know?
Right. Nobody was mad about it. Everybody was just like, well, this is just good storytelling. And
People were just mad that it was selling better than everything else, I
yeah,
think. I don't think they were mad about the content, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I don't remember the outrage from anything back then. But
Maybe we were young and we weren't aware of it,
I
but
don't think there's a possibility of that. Like, was there outrage about Robin? Like you were saying about the Robin where we started. Like, I don't remember anybody. I hate that guy. I hate Robin. He
oh,
deserves
I've got a
to
lot of
die.
people that do like because like that's the thing. Like I was thinking, like you said something that made me think last time we talked, where I was like, um, like I'm embarrassed like Batman Returns is my favorite movie. And you were like, well, you tell people it's your favorite movie. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just like kind of like embarrassed to kind of be a Batman fan, or I don't. And I was thinking how it's kind of like I never tell people like what my favorite band is because I'm kind of embarrassed because they have a bad connotation. And I feel the same way with with Batman. Like there's just like I don't know if it happened because of like the shootings at the Dark Knight Rises uh theater, like when it came out, or I don't know, there's like a bad association with Batman in particular. It's not comics or I don't know what it is,
Who
but
is your favorite band? Remind me who your favorite band is.
well, yeah, you don't
You
know.
don't
You
have to
might know
say.
because I shared something on Facebook of them playing recently. I don't want
Radiohead?
anybody to know. What?
Radiohead?
That's a Talking Heads song. What are you talking about? I didn't
But
know
it was a
that.
Radiohead cover, right?
I don't know who Radiohead's a Talking Heads song.
I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
I am talking about them, but I've now given it away that they're my favorite band. But I always try to, I don't tell people that
What's
because
wrong? Radiohead or
because
Talking
I see
Heads?
articles all the time that are like, if a guy's a Radiohead fan, don't date him or something like that. Or like,
Oh, but listen, man, we're just in a toxic society now where everybody wants to take everybody else down a peg.
yeah. But
Like,
there's like this weird, there's like, I feel like it's very similar. Like I feel like I wish, well now people know Radiohead's my favorite band,
well, listen, I love Radiohead. I mean, I love Radiohead.
but there's just like
I've never seen them live, but
I
I've
only
liked
saw
a
them
lot of it.
once. I only
Yeah.
saw them once. It was amazing, but I wish I could see them again. I wish I'd seen the last tour. I
I
don't
had
know.
a friend so I worked at a grocery store in the 90s and my friend was like, I knew Creep. And he's like, "Have you heard the Bends?" And I was like, "I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the Bends." And he like, I don't remember. I think we listened to it in his car. And I went that weekend and bought a copy of the Bends. It was before OK Computer had come out. And I was like, "This is the best record I've ever heard."
Yeah.
And then OK Computer came out and it was somehow even better in some ways
I
because it
mean,
was
like
pushing.
the first two albums to me are like that's like the sound of the 90s to me. Like that makes me nostalgic for them. Like people will say it's Nirvana or something, but it's just I feel like I don't know, Nirvana's like a lot of people think I'm a Nirvana fan or a big Nirvana fan, but the bands that like to me encapsulated the 90s were the first three Radioheads and the first three Smashing Pumpkins. Those were like those are my two favorites when I was actually in high school and I was feeling that,
Nice. Yeah.
and it wasn't Nirvana. Like I've had a couple Nirvana fans get attached to me, but I feel like Nirvana was already over by the time I was kind of growing up.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it was 90 they hit in 91, right? So I didn't really care for none of the grunge bands made much of an impact on me. Nirvana
yeah.
didn't do it, Pearl Jam didn't do it, Alice in Chains for sure didn't do it.
You're just like, oh, it's like, I don't know if you remember that show that was on MTV, So Full and Ollie with the two sock puppets. They were like, but there was one time it was like, I invented this new type of music. It's heavy metal, except we just wear like regular clothes. And I just think that's what grunge is. It's heavy metal, except we wear regular clothes.
Kudos to the
Uh,
Sifl and Ollie shout out that you just dropped. That's pretty good. Yeah, well,
uh,
but to follow up on what you just said, and this is probably a good place to maybe wind it down, is like so much of the
were we
stuff that we
winding it
love.
down? I feel like we just started.
We've been going for almost an hour,
Oh
and
my God. Oh
I
my God.
know I know the audience, and the longer it is, the less
Oh,
likely
right,
they're going to
right, right.
click.
I always forget. I
But
always,
but we'll do more. We'll
Okay.
we'll just
All
do more.
right.
But what I wanted to say to you is that so much
Oatmeal
of this,
after afternoon.
huh?
Oatmeal and
Oatmeal in the afternoon. That's it. Yeah. So much of the stuff that we love, the music, the comics, the movies, there is an element of fandom that is like obsessive about it, and they've kind of
Mhm.
ruined it for everybody. And I think that's when you
Yeah,
see the articles about
yeah.
the
No, I
people
just
that,
feel bad about that because so many times, like with comics and things like that, because like I used to do a radio show where we would talk about comics, and I was always like the youngest guy, and people would be like, "Oh, you like this new?" Like the Grant Morrison Batman was a perfect example. Like the older people were all negative about that, and I would never want to do that to a younger person if they like something that's coming out now. I wouldn't want to
right.
be like, you're stupid for liking this. Because first off, you're probably not stupid for liking it. And second of all, why like just rain on somebody's parade? You know? I mean,
Well, to use
you
the
know,
Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman movie as an example, obviously you're not a big fan of that movie.
I want to be though.
I
I
think
want to
there's a
understand
good
what people get about it.
I think there's a good movie in there somewhere. It's not in the theatrical cut. I think there's a good 2 hour version of that that really sings. But
Oh, you
I
think it was too
know,
long?
huh?
Because it was way too long, right?
It's way
Yeah,
too
yeah,
long.
uh,
It's
yeah.
45 minutes too long.
I never even considered that.
But
I
I
mean, I knew it was
but
too long, but I never thought you could cut it down and make it a better movie.
oh, I could cut it down. But then there's also problems with like the Riddler basically being Jigsaw from the Saw movies, and
Well, it's like the Zodiac
yeah,
movie,
that's never
right?
going to work with what I want from Batman. But I understand why younger people like it because it speaks to the disillusionment and the weariness and the fatigue that I think young people are growing up with. This constant presence of social media. There's the aspect of like the hate groups online that are looking to take you out. There's so much there that I think speaks to a
But
younger person.
that bothers me though because I feel like I'm not past that. Whatever they're feeling, I feel like I may be feeling it too. And maybe
Okay.
that's because I'm not married. I don't have kids or anything.
Maybe that's why you want to like it because you want
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just yeah. I can't kind of like um separate the versions of the characters I already know to
Yeah.
enjoy that. Maybe.
Well, that's probably a big part of it because Michael Keaton will always be my favorite Batman, but it's because he was my Batman.
All right.
Well, Adam West to an extent, but Adam West is playing it so cheekily, though he played it straightforward. That whole show is so, like,
I like all of them. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's the weird thing. I when people are like, oh, because oftentimes I've been like accused that Adam West is my favorite version or Michael Keaton's my favorite version. It's like, but I like the other ones. It's like
yeah,
I don't think that's fair. Somebody had said because I didn't like Man of Steel when somebody said, "Oh, you've got to get over the Christopher Reeve version." It's like I've watched every other version.
right.
It's like I watched the Superboy show, which the person who told me this definitely didn't even know there was a Superboy show. And
Yep.
I
Yeah,
watched
that had
Lois and
two different
Clark.
actors to play
Yeah, and
Superboy.
I love the Gerard Christopher episode. I thought that show got better and better. And
Can I promote my John Hames Newton interview right
yeah, I
here?
know
Because
you
I did
interviewed him.
interview.
Yeah,
I got to reach out to Gerard Christopher and see if he'll come on for an interview so I can just,
I thought the third and fourth season of that show was great.
yeah.
They had comics writers like J.M.D. Mateus writing episodes that are still some of my favorite Superman stories, even if
You're
it's
not going to see that now because the studios do not want they don't for whatever reason they don't want the comics related people working on the theatrical properties,
yeah.
which is crazy because they view this as some sort of a divide. And I'm like, no, that's exactly who you should be hiring to write some of
Well,
these.
that even if his story is true, that is even true. Like Kevin Smith said that when they asked him to write the Superman movie script, that he
Right.
was like, "Well, why don't you get the comics people?" And it's like, no, they're comics people, and
Hmm.
um, but yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can see something to like in every version. So when there's something I don't like, I feel like, well, what am I being narrow-minded,
Right.
or am I being is there something closed off?
Well,
Uh,
that's good though because you're being actively you're thoughtful about your fandom and you don't want to. You're not tribalistic about it, and that really is the death. I've been saying this for years, but that idea of like this is mine, this is right, yours is wrong and different, that's not healthy for any growing fandom, and it just ends up isolating us and making us less happy. So the fact that you're actively like, I want to like the Batman, that's a wonderful quality, and that's not,
I would hate to, yeah, I'd hate to shit on anybody's enthusiasm for something,
yeah.
particularly like somebody younger than me.
Right.
maybe that's getting them through the day, maybe that's, I don't know. I mean, I guess
What
it's
I was
that's
just what drives me crazy. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, maybe that's specific to something where these I don't want to call them IPs because that's like so cold
I,
and
I say it all the time. So say IPs.
but I
IPs.
guess the fact that they just keep going,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of weird. But if somebody likes something newer that maybe I can't connect to, I mean, I wouldn't want to crap on them for it. I don't even really like, attack the people that like the Snyder movies are so kind of attacked and like Warner even makes fun of them. Like they made fun of them in Barbie, and it's like, well, you made these freaking movies, It's
You
like
made the movies and you made the fans too because you gave them the Snyder cut of Justice League online. You can't have it both. Well, they want to have their cake and eat it too, but they did make they did make that whole thing.
and if you look at all like the press stuff from when those movies are coming out, they were acting like that this is the greatest stuff
Of
ever.
course.
I
Of
mean,
course.
so it's that to me is, and I can find stuff to like in that
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't pop them into my Blu-ray player all the time because
I just
how
find him to be
many I
so
don't have four
nihilistic.
hours of my life to like go up. So
Right. Yeah, I just find him to be so nihilistic. It doesn't
it
speak to the
is.
tone that I want in my
Yeah,
superhero stories, but
yeah,
for people that are, for people that connect with that, good. I'm glad you have something.
yeah, yeah. And I think even if it is nihilistic, I think it was going in a hopeful direction, or maybe that
Right.
was the end of it.
That
But
was the plan.
do you
Yeah.
want to get there? That's the thing. I mean, it's
Well,
like, do you want
that's
to
what I
get
told you
there?
about James Gunn's Superman. I'm like, okay, so we got Party Girl Supergirl, and he's just going to build to a
Practical.
whole
I think
version
he
of
did
these
it practical.
characters where we have the actual Justice League and not the Justice Gang. But I'm
Right.
like, do I want to spend 10 years getting there when I can go read it on the DC app right now?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Somebody was saying that this Superman movie is going to be like Batman Begins. That the next one is going to be so
Yeah.
huge. But my cynical take on that was that, yeah, unless whoever plays Brainiac dies before the movie comes out, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, or does something that gets him canceled, like the actor that played Kang in the Marvel
Yeah, but
movies.
I mean, I'm sorry. I think The Dark Knight would not have been as big if Heath Ledger had not died. So it would have to be something like that to that the
I
super
got you.
sequel is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, the thing with Jonathan Majors is another thing altogether.
Yeah, that's
Um,
a fair point. All right, what have you been working on? Let's end there. What have you been
okay.
working on?
Well, Allied Vaughn just sent me the December releases for Alpha Video, which I haven't opened because it was like 5 minutes before I started talking to you.
Yeah.
So do you want because people
And
like
you
to
want to do an
see.
on-air unboxing of the
Yeah,
latest
because
alpha
people like
video?
that, right? People like that,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah. All right, it's being unboxed, right? It's actually an
These
unbagging.
I think these come out on December. They said December 2nd at first, and then they were like, can we make like 5 minutes later, they were like, can we make it December 9th? And I was like, I really prefer the second, so we'll see.
Look at
We'll
you.
see.
Yeah, December
But
2nd,
these
please.
are um but what see, this is really hard for me to do. See, I couldn't do these types of things.
Yeah, you're struggling.
You have the skill. So here's a 1929 movie called The Lady Lies, and I know you like Claudette Colbert. I really
I
love this movie.
do. Oh,
And Walter Houston.
Walter
This
Houston.
I really loved. Um,
Oh, that's John Houston's dad for people that don't know.
yeah, and Danny Houston's grandfather,
Yep.
and John Houston's grandfather. But yeah, this I really liked. 1929 pre-code. I mean, so um,
It's a
it,
talking picture, right?
it's a talking picture. Yeah, it's Paramount. Um, then what else? Yeah. So I mean, I guess should I explain that? Since unfortunately Sam Sherman passed away,
Oh yeah, since our
and
last episode, yeah.
and he was providing us with most of the material we put out on Alpha Video. Um, the difficult thing was, not only was, Sam was a friend, um, was at the end of Alpha Video, but our friends at Festival Films, Ron Hall and Derek Myers have stepped in to provide us with material. So hopefully we'll be able to go on because we still have to get this stuff from somewhere. Um, Now they have a lot of TV shows, so you're going to see in this package new volume because we put them out individually as volumes and then we collect them in bundle packs later, which is really a very outdated way of doing it as opposed to doing season sets. But the fact that we find them piecemeal, and we're fine, it's all public domain. We can't do them kind of as season sets like a copyright holder can. So you're going to see a lot of TV shows that have not had volumes from Alpha Video in a long time, uh, like Roy Rogers. This is volume 23,
Oh my goodness.
and Ron and Derek had 3 episodes that we never put out. We have 22 volumes with 4 episodes apiece, and there were 3 episodes they didn't have. So as a bonus, they gave us the Chevy Show, which was a variety show that was on NBC, hosted by Roy and Dale. It was usually hosted by Dinah Shore, but this episode from 1959 was hosted by Roy and Dale. Now I had to cut out some of the songs because most of it is songs,
Ah,
and the songs are still copyrighted. Fortunately, there were a couple public domain songs in there, so
okay.
but yeah, so it's excerpts from it, really.
Yeah.
But that's just to round it out because usually we put 4 episodes a disc on these things.
Well, and that's probably what's kept that from hitting a studio release as well
Yeah,
as music
yeah,
rights. That's why we're
yeah,
probably never going to get a 77 Sunset Strip or a Hawaiian Eyes because a lot of those shows have songs in them that have
yeah.
to be licensed. And people
Sure.
like, well, people don't understand because they say to me whenever I talk about this, they're like, well, wouldn't that be covered under the license, not for home entertainment, not for home video,
Right.
because
Well, they
that
didn't
didn't
know
exist
back
at the
then.
time.
Yeah, they didn't know. So that's Roy, Volume 23. I don't know if I really wonder the people that bought the last volume years ago, are they still with us? Are
Right.
they've been waiting for this? I don't know. But it's coming out in December. Okay.
Well,
And
it's cool. Yeah.
here's another one, Follow That Man, which is an early Dumont Television Network show starring Ralph Bellamy, uh, who we know from The Wolfman and Trading Places, shot in New York, which I love because I'm like sending pictures to my brother. I'm like, well, where is this subway station? Where's this supermarket? Is that an A&P? That was the funnest thing about. I really love doing these actually because I don't know. I know
Yeah.
that this is a very dated way to release television, but I love putting these together, and I'm really thankful to Ron and Derek for helping us out with these. But let's follow that man. 4 episodes, one guest starring a young Eva Marie Saint before she did On the Waterfront, and also one guest starring Robert F. Simon, who I make sure to point out on the back, played J. Jonah Jameson in the Amazing Spider-Man TV series, which we still don't have on DVD or Blu-ray. So.
Wow.
Uh, We should do an episode about that. We should do an episode about
The live
the
action
live
70s
action,
series?
the Nicholas Hammond.
I don't know if I've
Uh,
even seen any of that.
you never saw it? Like they used to show it on on the USA Network. They would show a marathon of it on Thanksgiving.
Oh,
I
I don't
don't know.
remember.
I mean, it's not great, but it's
Right.
I like. And the Funny Company. Now, this was a Saturday. This was a short cartoon that was, I think, more shown when they would have those hosts that would show various cartoons. Like we had Sally Star in Philadelphia, and would they have Captain Joe Bolton in New York? So this is like 5, 6 minute cartoon done by Ken Snyder and Charles Corren, who did Roger Ramjet. Has a lot of the same voices, like Dickie Beals, the Alter Seltzer guy, Hal Smith, of course, who did tons of voices and was on Andy Griffith. Um, but yeah, so there's about
60s? 1960s?
60s, 1963.
Okay.
There's 6 minutes apiece, so there's 22 on here for like a total of it's over 100 minutes. So this is the third volume we've done. Uh, Ron had provided us with the other volumes years ago. As far as I know, these are the only physical media releases of these cartoons.
Wow.
Um, Not the most famous thing that was ever done. but a lot of people seem to remember it from when I looked online. So, and it's interesting because they're cartoons, but they have little short films, educational films that the characters will stop and watch them that were provided by different, I guess, independent film houses. So they'll be like, let's learn about electric eels. And then you'll see a little film about electric eels. So that's interesting. I think Ron had them because that footage, that live action footage is good as stock footage. So that's at volume three. Um,
Without these physical media releases, it would who's talking about this stuff right now?
I don't know. I mean, some of it is online, I'll admit, it's on YouTube, but though I'm told YouTube compresses stuff more than we
Oh,
do.
for
I don't know if
sure.
that's true. I don't know if that's
It
true.
is it's very true.
I
Yeah.
don't want to say. And there's another 1929 movie, The River of Romance, with Charles Buddy Rogers of Wings fame and Mary Bryan, who's cute as a button in this movie. This is actually a remake of a silent movie that we also put out called The Fighting Coward from 1924.
Oh, wow.
So another early talkie, and it really shows. But it's enjoyable, and Wallace Beery he really steals the show in this one as basically Buddy Rogers' character is a pacifist, and he gets rejected because of that, because we got to be men, and we got to fight and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This is 1929, and Wallace Beery basically teaches him how is a tough guy that teaches him how to be a man. But then it turns out Mary Bryan liked him as a pacifist, so he has to go back to the way he was. But yeah, another early Paramount talkie from 1929. So
Interesting.
those are the ones that are coming out in December. So you
Wonderful.
get to see them for the first time with me because
Yeah.
uh, I hadn't opened, it literally came. I checked outside. It came right before I logged on to talk to you. So
That's awesome.
here are these. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody's interested in the TV stuff, but I have a lot of fun putting those together.
Well, it's
And
also
thanks to Ron Hall and Derek Myers for helping us with these and providing
absolutely.
material.
Your insights are always really appreciated because you can give us a peek behind why things are the way they are and why you're doing TV, why you're leaning towards TV, and
It's just that, it's Sam Sherman provided us with everything for years, and now we've got to pivot to kind of stuff that we've done before because Sam's gone.
yeah.
So
And if anybody's watching or listening to this and you've got a tip on how to get access to some fresh stuff, so
yeah, yeah.
reach
I
out.
mean, because I don't want to deal with stuff that's it may be public domain now, but it's already released from other people. I don't want to deal with that. So
Right.
um,
Remind me to tell you about something after we finish recording.
okay,
See
okay,
if I have something to see if you're interested in it.
okay,
All
okay.
right. Well, very good. So those are available December 2nd
Or
and
ninth, depending.
or the
I
9th.
don't
Yeah.
know. I'm
We'll
certainly
see.
going to post about them on the Facebook.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, before we hit record, we were talking about how you said a lot of people are buying those through Amazon, but oldies.com is so much cheaper. They're like $6.90 or something like that on
yeah,
oldies most of the
they
time.
are. Yeah, and that's the thing is that oldies.com used to be the website of the Gotham Distributing Corporation that owns Alpha Video, and it was sold to MVD. But part of the deal was that they would sell Alpha Video cheaper than everybody else. So even though we're getting more sales from Amazon now because we weren't on Amazon before, we were pretty much exclusive to oldies.com. Um, People aren't going to oldies.com as much, and yet it's still cheaper there.
Hmm.
It's a little more expensive, like $1 more than it used to be before we made the switch over to Allied Vaughan manufacturing our product. But it's still cheaper than and Amazon, from what I saw. And look, I'm grateful to Amazon for carrying our product, but it looks like they decide what they're going to sell them for. It's not even the suggested retail price that I send them. So it goes up and down based on
Yeah,
what they decide. I guess it's based on their algorithm or
I guess so.
whatever the word is. So that doesn't seem to happen on oldies.com. It's pretty much um 690, I think, for all of them, and I think maybe 790 for titles that have more on them.
The
Uh,
only thing is that I miss that oldies used to do
yeah,
Alpha Video sales,
yeah, I know. Well, it
and
was
you
five
could.
for $25.
That was
And
it. Yep.
that was great for kind of the independent stuff that I put
Hmm.
out because somebody will buy for whatever Bela Lugosi movies, and then they'll see something like a Josh Kennedy movie or a Mr. Lobo episode, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll just throw that in there," and that was great for them. But now I don't have that anymore. So
Yeah.
it hurts that most of all because you know that if you're going there for whatever you're going there for Roy Rogers or Bela Lugosi or Africa Screams with Abbott and Costello, you're going to get that. But if you buy a bunch of them and then you have one left over, then you'll take a risk on one of um, these new independent films that we put out. Um, and we don't have that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we did because that those sales motivate purchases. They get people to,
Mhm.
as you well know, sales will get somebody to actually take their wallet out and spend some money on something they've been thinking about buying for a while. Uh,
I mean, still the best sellers on Alpha Video because I get the sales every month. They're still like the stuff that we put out they put out 25. I wasn't there, obviously, 25
right.
years ago. Like I think I saw that is the little princess with Shirley Temple. Is that the name of the film? That was like our bestseller the other month because we didn't have really new releases. So it's just, I don't know if it's a Christmas Shirley Temple thing, but I mean, that's
Yeah.
still, I think it sold like 40 copies. So
Well, I still got, I still have old alpha video releases on my wish list that I haven't bought yet. I told you I still want to buy the Sheena Queen of the Jungle episodes that are on
yeah.
released on DVD, and I also need to pick up the Raymar of the Jungle episodes that got
Yeah, and that
released.
those two shows, Steve Kaplan was really a fan of those, particularly Ramar, and he really wanted to put out as many as possible. Now, granted, they're not in the best shape, some
Yeah.
of them, but I think it's the most comprehensive collection of Ramar out there.
Yep.
I'm not sure about Sheena, probably. I think there's more. We put out more that are available on streaming because Tubi and things like that all have that stuff. But I've checked or I think we were talking about it. It's we always have a few more. Now, whether that's because the quality of those episodes is not good enough for streaming, I don't know.
Maybe.
I've seen some pretty poor quality stuff on streaming, so
Yeah, especially on Tubi too. That's
Tubi,
like,
yeah, I think Tubi
yeah,
just accepts anything,
I think
really.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Um,
All
but who
right. Well,
who am I to say?
thank you for the peek behind the scenes.
Of
And
course, I'm happy. I'm glad to be able to promote it, or just
yeah,
I don't think people know it exists otherwise. I mean, I
no,
literally just have an Alpha Video Facebook page that they gave me the keys to um, five or 6 years ago. I don't think they even remember they gave it to me, and that's all I have. That's all I have to really announce. I don't know what Allied Vaughn does as far as promoting this stuff. I know Joe Biskin at Oldies because we have such a good relationship. He still sends out an email with the new releases from Alpha, but you know, there's no
yeah,
Alpha Video Twitter or Instagram or anything like that, or catalog or anything like that. So if you're not looking on Facebook, you wouldn't even know we have this stuff out.
yeah. And a lot of people aren't on Facebook. So,
Yeah, yeah, with good reason.
well, this is a core audience. This is a physical media
Yeah,
audience, and hopefully people spend some money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's got to be somebody out there that has the last volumes of The Funny Company, Roy Rogers, and Follow That Man that
Yeah,
has been waiting for another volume for us. So that's just what I hope. I hope that
yeah.
somebody's been waiting. I think the last volume of Follow That Man, I looked, it came out 2006. So imagine
That's
the
19 years
people
ago.
that bought that still with us. I mean,
Good
I'm not
question.
going to be crass or anything or morbid, but I mean.
No, but that's realistic. If you're, because we know the audience for these things already skews older anyway. So if you
Right.
were 60
Hmm.
in 2006, are you still here?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if like Ralph Bellamy has like a new generation of fans from like the movie he did with the Fat Boys or Trading Places and like, oh, I want to really see that guy young and when he played a private eye in New York. But I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that.
Well, what I've heard from people in the know is that there is not the younger audience that's coming into this stuff. They're not watching things. really older than they are. And if they do, it's things from the 90s and maybe the 80s. So,
What, like, are you afraid of the dark from Nickelodeon or something
hey,
like
there you go. Yeah.
that?
Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.
Now,
I dubbed this episode.
this could tie everything together. Do you know that Ralph Bellamy was actually Bruce Timm's basis for Harvey Dent on Batman the Animated Series? A lot of people think that he was designed to be African American because of Billy D. Williams, and for some reason they made him white, but he's based on Ralph Bellamy, supposedly his profile.
I
But a
did
lot
not
of
know
people
that.
don't pick that up because they're like, who? I think a lot of people, if they know Ralph Bellamy, they know him as an older man.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah,
Very interesting.
check
That's a
him out
good.
and follow that. Yeah, everything goes back to Batman. Everything goes back to
It
Batman.
does. We started with Batman. We end with
Yeah, yeah,
Batman.
yeah. And
That's
I'll be
good.
laid to rest in a Batman coffin.
Okay. All right.
All right, I'm glad you did. Everybody take note of that.
Your
And I'll
wishes,
say kill all or one. It's like, what does that? What does that have to do with that?
your
Whatever.
wishes have been noted. I've written it down. Brian, thank you for talking to me about you.
Always
Just
happy to be here.
it's always a blast to do these. We'll do them more often. I want to get back in a habit of trying to do one, like at least once a month. But schedules are kind of tentative for me. I had committed to one audio commentary before the end of the year. We're recording this in late November. And I just got an email that there's two more that I need to do before the end of the year. That's three commentaries in like
Wow.
5 weeks. And I really don't
Can
know
you
how
share
that's
what movies
possible.
they're for? Or
No, I can't say yet.
okay, okay.
Can't say yet. But
Top secret stuff.
well,
It's
some of
all
them haven't
secret stuff.
they haven't been announced yet, so
Yeah, yeah.
I
No,
don't
I
want to
know.
get in
I know.
trouble.
No, that's a problem with the indie stuff that I release is that I will send the people the covers to approve.
Uh-huh.
And then they immediately post it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it'll get like 200 likes
Yeah.
from all their friends. And Joe Biskin pointed out to me that all the people that like that are people that even if like 10% of those people there was a link and they bought a copy, that's lost sales. And I see that so much. I see all these people like the cover, but it doesn't translate to sales, and you think when you share it, there should be a link to
Yep.
buy it, even if one out of five people. So that drives me crazy. You know,
Yep.
like
Everybody wants to be first.
one person I'll never forget just shared the cover online and just wrote above it DVD fun. Like not what it was, or yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
All right, well, there's room for us to grow, people. That's
Yeah,
constructive
yeah, yeah.
criticism. Do better.
I mean, I'm sorry, we're living in a capitalistic society. We got to sell this stuff.
Right.
It's
Well,
not
it
just
is a
you're like,
business.
whoa, look at this image of something, and wow.
Right. Yeah. All right, man. Let's
Okay,
wrap this one up for now, and
okay,
we'll be back soon. If you guys have topics for us that you want us to
yeah.
cover, shout them out in the comments below. And until next time, whatever
Oatmeal afternoon,
oatmeal in the afternoon,
oatmeal at noon,
oatmeal at noon.
oatmeal at noon. Yeah.
Own OAN. Own. We're gonna joke about that so much it's gonna actually become the title.